Welcome back into One-on-One, our third annual women's show. I'm Annabelle Watson here with Grace McCarron and Lydia Pirner behind the glass playing some awesome music. Great choices, Kurt. We love it. Kurt Sipple behind the glass for us today. Before we get into some MLB talk, we have a Yankees ticket giveaway. Today is calendar day at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees always have the best promotions, and we always have Yank tickets to give away here on One-on-One. Here is our first trivia question of the season. The Yankees won opening day on Thursday at the stadium. How many straight season openers have the Bronx Bombers won? 4 tickets to Yankees Kansas City Royals on Wednesday, April 16th at 7:05. They can be yours if you're the first to call in with the correct answer to that question at 718-817-2750. I know I would love to go see that. Again, the question is, the Yankees won opening day on Thursday at the stadium. How many straight season openers have the Bronx Bombers won? But that's a perfect segue into the Yankees. They won their opening day game at the stadium. They had kind of this weird off day on yesterday, and then they play again today. So we want to jump into some Yankees talk. This team, it's definitely looks different without Juan Soto, I'll say, and without Giancarlo because of his injury. This is kind of a younger team right now with Anthony Volpe, with Ben Rice, with Jason Dominguez. So this opening day was the first time in 70 years that 2 Yankees aged 25 or younger went deep in the first game of the season. That was Wells and Volpe. Austin Wells obviously was the first MLB catcher to hit a leadoff home run on opening day. He really has done well in the leadoff spot during spring training. 6 home runs, 12 RBIs. He spent most of 2024 batting cleanup and in the 8 spot. 13 homers, 55 RBIs in 2025. Austin Wells and Anthony Volpe, they're, what do they call them? Like the chicken parm. Yeah. So this is kind of a younger team. It kind of reminds me of 2017, the Baby Bombers. And it's fun. Obviously, are there questions about the team? Yes, but this kind of younger vibe is fun. And you also have Ben Rice. He's now wearing Juan Soto's 22. He has a very powerful swing. I was there for his MLB debut, so he always has like a special place in my heart. But I want to know, of these younger guys for the Yankees, who do you think is going to be the true breakout star? Obviously, just going based on opening day, seems like Austin Wells is really that guy. Volpe, you know, he's kind of already cemented himself, I feel like, a little bit. But of these newer guys, Austin Wells, Ben Rice, Jason Dominguez, what are your thoughts, Lydia? Who's going to be that guy?
I mean, Austin Wells, he set it up perfectly for us just watching that opening day, leadoff home run. He already shut some haters up. I see one right behind the glass that, said no chance. And, it was great. I talked about I hate people who have no ball knowledge proving me wrong. Well, in this time I was proved right because I said Austin Wells would have that leadoff home run. And I think it's a good thing for the Yankees. I think you go into a season, you're a young team, you don't have an identity made for yourself, which isn't always a bad thing that can be looked at in a negative light. I don't think so. I think it's a great year for some players to be given legit opportunities. Ben Rice, Austin Wells, Volpe, playing in a bigger spot. I think it's great for these guys to kind of finally get a chance and know that, if things aren't going your way, if the season doesn't go off to a hot start, well, you're still going to be relied on and you still going to get given the chance to perform. I think it's a great thing for the Yankees, and I think it's only going to build long-term success. I know some people question the Yankees' long-term success. I'm not going to name names, but I think you know exactly who I'm talking about, Grace McCarron. I think it's great to get, show that the Yankees are still going to be able to compete within 5 years because these young guys can build an identity for themselves and be a good baseball player and baseball team.
Yeah. I agree on Austin Wells. I do think he's going to be a very good catcher, and I think a good catcher is important. Like you want that, especially if they want to hit him.
He's great at
lead
framing
off.
the ball.
Yes, he's been great defensively. I did see on Twitter that Paul Goldschmidt is batting leadoff today at 1 p.m. But that's
Nestor's the lefty.
Yes, that is why. But I like Austin Wells a lot. He kind of broke out last season. In a season, I feel like I am a broken record saying this, but last year it was so heavy on Judge and Soto in the lineup to produce the offense because Anthony Volpe was struggling. We didn't have Austin Wells didn't really break out until a couple months in. It was difficult for a lot of the rest of the lineup. And now they made some moves in the offseason. Obviously, they lost Soto, but they made some moves in the offseason that were good. They got Cody Bellinger. They got Paul Goldschmidt, who you hope can – those are two former MVPs. You hope that they can replicate some level of MVP caliber play. But I am going to say that, Austin Wells, the young guys, I need to see a little – they really need to be very good this season. Anthony Volpe – I'm a little concerned. Last year was a down year.
No.
I'm a little, thank you. I'm a little worried. I love him. And I'm saying that as a Met fan. Love the guy. A little concerned. I need to see a little bounce back from him. Austin Wells, I'm not worried about at all. If he can continue what he did last year. But the hole, and I'm not saying this because I'm a Met fan. I'm saying it because I believe it's true. The hole that Juan Soto filled, that Juan Soto leaves in that lineup is very big,
Stop.
Lydia.
No, we had this argument last night.
Yes.
Why the Yankees don't need Juan Soto.
I just feel like
they
it's
just
not
have
a
to
bad
get
thing to have Juan Soto.
It's not,
though.
but your team is more than one player.
Of course. But last year you have to admit that a lot of their offense was because Aaron Judge had such a great season and Juan Soto had such a great season. I don't think you can.
And Aaron Judge is still on my baseball team.
Well, yes, but I'm saying you can't really dispute that, especially since Stanton is injured now. He also took a while to heat up until the postseason. He had a great postseason. But they need some of the basis of what I'm saying is that they really need these young guys to be very good. And I'm not saying that I don't think that's going to happen. I'm just saying it's very much to their benefit if these young guys heat up. And Ben Rice included, actually. I forgot to mention him. I hope he has a great season.
Yeah. I feel like I might have to be the referee between you guys today. I'm excited.
A huge
yeah,
argument
we
in
had
my
an
last
argument
night.
last night. It was kind of ridiculous.
Wait, okay. Love that. I'll gladly take that spot. But before we continue our MLB talk, we have a caller. We have Joe from London. Joe, what do you have for us?
Hi, Joe. Women.
Hi, guys. So good to hear your voices. So excited for the show for you guys. I'm very happy to be interrupting a Yankees segment, especially after that take from Lydia Pirner. That was ridiculous. First, I want to say I'm so proud of you guys for all the work you continue to do in this industry. I know it's such an uphill battle for you guys, the misogyny that is laid upon you in this industry, but you guys continue to make us proud at FUV, and I'm just so happy that it gets to culminate in a show like this. I also want to say I'm at the London Zoo. I just interviewed a very polite young penguin named Carl, and he told me three things. First, he said Lydia Pirner needs to stop talking about the Yankees, and second, he said he's very proud of women in sports, except for Lydia Pirner, and then third, he said that Nick Palmer needs to choose a baseball team.
Nice. Tell that penguin he's very smart, and he's very correct.
Oh, I already did, yeah.
Oh, good.
I'm thinking about adopting him and bringing him back home to New York, so more on that to come. I wanted to leave you guys with this, not to get you too far off track, but for me, when I think about women in sports, it's obviously more than just the athletes. It's about folks like us in sports media, and I think that the road for women in sports media might be even harder than for women's athletes, but there's so many inspirations. I wanted to hear from you guys an inspiration in the world of sports media and broadcasting. That is a woman. For me, it's Doris Burke. Always grew up listening to her. Just such a trailblazer and a beacon for women in sports and in sports broadcasting, proving that it's more than just a role there where you're refined to just the sidelines. You belong in a broadcast booth. And she's just tremendous. So fun to listen to her. Joy for the game exudes. And I think she's such a great inspiration for young women looking to get into this industry. So I'll leave you guys with that. Have an awesome show. So proud of you guys again. Lydia, keep it down with the Juan Soto talk, okay?
Well, thank you so much, Joe. Lydia, you might have different feelings, but
Well, Joe was out here trying to compliment us, or you guys.
That was very sweet.
He's just throwing shade, and I want to meet this penguin because I've had nothing.
what's his name? Carl?
Carl.
I've had
Very
nothing
correct.
but good things to say about the Penguins in recent years. I'm a big Sidney Crosby fan. Despite being a big New York Rangers fan, I will always give praise to Crosby where it's due, and so I really thought that he wouldn't send Carl to say these things about me. I'll keep talking about Juan Soto and how the Yankees can live life without him, and they should. It'll teach everyone else how to play in the lineup. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this Penguin is talking about. Maybe the Penguin should just go back to watching, I don't know, Chelsea play if he's in London. I think Chelsea's the local soccer team in London. So
Chelsea, Arsenal,
yeah, I mean,
Crystal Palace.
work on your own team. I mean, I'm a Man U fan, and you're in the Man U shirt.
Yep,
so
I'm in my Beckham jersey.
we're
today.
pretty bad, but yeah, Joe. But it was good to hear your voice. With all due respect, and to answer your question, inspirational, women in sports for me. Honestly, I don't have a specific one recently. I mean, Susan Waltman's been a big one, just listening to her, obviously growing up. But I guess I never realized how important these people are until you get here. Recently, obviously, Grace, I know I've been mentioning to you, Michelle Dringas. It's really cool to watch her work, and I think it's been cooler in a season where Rangers have been so bad trying to find storylines out of things. You don't realize how hard that is, but also just being here, being on a show with you two. I would be lying if I said just being around other people that share a passion like this isn't also inspiring to me. So I'll give you two and everyone back there in the nod too, including you, Kurt,
cute.
and Bobby and Joe.
Okay, well, this is kind of, I used this answer last year, but my mom is the reason that I am doing this. Also my dad, but my mom especially.
Shout out Anthony, our favorite girly pop.
Exactly. But my mom is absolutely one of the biggest reasons I'm doing this. She is my role model, and it's been absolutely such an inspiration to watch her do her thing. She's so great. I love talking football with my mom. She just knows so much about it. And other sports as well. She's covered a lot, but just I could go on and on, but my biggest inspiration is my mother. So I'm going to have to say her.
I love it. I think that's so sweet. For myself, I would say definitely Meredith Marakovits. She's someone I grew up watching. She started later on in my childhood, I feel but she was someone where for the first time I kind of looked at her and I was oh, I could be like her one day. And she's just she's very active on social media, which I love. She's always posting with Susan. They go out on their little adventures, which I love. I think it's very cute. And similar to Lydia, I think everyone here really inspires me, how we kind of have that uphill battle, as Joe mentioned, but we're working so hard. You guys amaze me being younger, how far you guys have gotten with, your beat reporting. Lydia being, you're in my mock group and you're out there going to Rangers games all the time. That makes me very proud. And obviously, the women here who came before me, the Julia Mosses, the Sam Boers, the Maddie Bemontes, they were people I looked up to, became very close with, and they really were kind of a guiding light for me, because it was intimidating coming here and kind of feeling like the only girl. But when I met them and became closer with them, they really have provided me with a lot of inspiration. And you guys have talked to Sam later on, and I'm sure she has some great words, as well as Gigi and Kelly. So yeah, that would probably be my answer, is Meredith Marakovits and just FUV women in general. Thank you, Joe, for that question. Very appropriate for our women's show. But we're going to move back into the New York Yankees. I want to focus now on the rotation injuries that the Yankees have sustained. We have Garrett Cole out for the season, which absolute gut punch when I
seeing the arm.
That was really sad.
Robotic looking arm.
That was really sad.
Yeah, no, not fun. And then Luis Hill is also out. We had Carlos Rondon start opening day. 7 strikeouts, 5.1 innings pitched, 4 hits. I thought it was a pretty good showing from him. He is someone, I don't know why in the Yankees rotation I forget about him, because he's always pretty solid, but just never does anything too amazing. And to me, that's kind of what is needed for the Yankees this year. Obviously, without Cole, you're not going to get that absolutely spectacular stuff. So for me, they need someone that's going to keep them afloat. And a big part of that is the bullpen, which scares me a little bit. I feel like in recent years with the Yankees, it's either when a reliever comes out, I'm we're totally fine, or I'm I can't even watch. It's never
Clay Holmes. Sorry.
Yeah, it's never normal. It can never be normal.
And it
with
wasn't
the
on
Yankees.
opening day.
Yeah,
No.
and it wasn't on opening day. Devin Williams made things a little scary. Gave up 1 run to get the Brewers within 1. But the rest of the rotation, we have Max Fried, Marcus Stroman, Will Warren, Carlos Carrasco. Carlos Carrasco, I'm so excited to see him pitch. I think he's absolutely amazing. He's a cancer survivor. He's been in this league for so long. So the rest of the rotation, I'm again excited to see Max Fried from Atlanta. And as far as the relievers, they do make me scared, but I have faith in 2 men, Luke Weaver and Tim Hill. Luke Weaver, to me, is the ultimate, I feel like pitchers, especially relievers, you gotta be a little weird.
Yeah.
you have to have something
It's like a goalie in all
yeah,
sports.
yeah. You have to be kind of an interesting guy, and Luke Weaver fits that perfectly. He is someone who just, anytime you see him answer anything in an interview or anything like that, it is the most strange thing. And to me, that's what makes me have faith in him. He's that perfect stereotype of kind of a weird guy and a really good pitcher. In the off season, he was truly the only reliever where I was okay, I have faith that Weaver's going to come in and totally shut down this game. And Tim Hill, same thing. Every time he came in the postseason, I felt like he was able to shut things down. And the mustache also makes me have faith in him. It's just, it's that classy Yankees mustache. So those 2 guys I have a lot of faith in. But for me, with all of these rotation injuries, the key is this bullpen being good. Because if you can only get, say, 4-5 innings out of your starter, that bullpen has to come in, be productive, shut things down, and offensively there's question marks as well. So you don't know how many runs are going to be on the board. So this bullpen has to be lights out, in my opinion, this season. But I want to hear what you guys think about this rotation. Who are you looking at as, okay, you need to be the guy, both in the rotation and bullpen wise?
I think we kind of got at Carlos Rodon. The Yankees got him over to be that bull, that guy that you could just throw out there and trust in a big spot to, win a playoff game. And he hasn't been that, but he also hasn't been terrible.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to go out here and say he's been not a good Yankee, because I don't think that would be correct, but he hasn't been the Carlos Rodon that he was when he was it was San Francisco,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
So I think, he's got his beard, he's got that side of him, invigorated. I think that's a guy with Cole going down, knows he has to step up. But then also I think you complement that with a Max Fried. I think that obviously we'll see his first start today. And the first start's always the toughest, going from Atlanta to New York, 2 completely different markets. The New York Yankees is a whole nother ball game, and I think that's what we saw with just pressure with Williams, because obviously he's been a good closer these past few years, but you get a little overwhelmed. But then seeing the first strikeout, seeing the first out, or 3 outs, and getting the save, I think it's going to be the same thing for him today. So, I mean, those 2 guys ultimately are going to have to step up. Last season, I know it was you needed Cole to have a really good outing, and you needed Rodon to then come in and have a good outing, or Nestor, and then you could kind of be like, okay, if Clark Schmidt doesn't do that great, whatever. You got the other 3 guys to bail him out. That's not really the case this year, but I think it's also good to get, Will Warren reps and test the bullpen. I agree with that. The bullpen, it's one of those things where I think they could come in and pitch like they did on Thursday. I thought, they all looked good. Leiter looked good. Hill, I believe, Hill came on. He looked good. Weaver, all looked good until that top of the 9th. But yeah, it's funny you mentioned Luke Weaver. I think it's perfect that you bring him up on, the women's show, because I think he's just the perfect diva and just always answering the way he answers questions, like the Girl Scout cookie video.
Yeah.
I don't
That
know
was
if
so
like
funny.
you just, or the mascot, like, oh, who's your best friend on the team? Well, I always try and make friends with the mascot, but the Yankees don't have a mascot, so I'm working on that. He's
so
just
funny.
the best.
My roommates will watch Yankees games with me, and we'll go to Billy's, we'll go to
Yeah.
Stan's, and all of them, their favorite is Luke Weaver. They're like, Weavy!
He's just
they
the
love
perfect.
him.
He's the perfect Yankee on a team that has so much seriousness to them. He's just not serious, and he just brings that nerdy element and weird element that this franchise needs, just to give the fans some I can take a deep breath at this player. He'll find a way, and even if he doesn't, he'll still be Luke Weaver tomorrow and won't be too phased. And when he was a closer last season, I thought he did good, because Clay Holmes couldn't do that, and he's not a starting pitcher either. But sorry, go ahead, Grace.
Oh, we'll get into the Clay Holmes
Yeah, I
talk.
was gonna say. Okay, so on Carlos Rodon, he was great in opening day. I will give him his flowers for that. I think it's acceptable to say that his Yankees tenure has not been what we wanted. In 2023, he had a 6.85 ERA. That's not, you can't have that. And the 2023 Yankees were not great. We watched a lot of them. They were not an exciting baseball team. But Carlos Rodon, he has a little bit left to prove as a Yankee, because you said he was great in San Francisco, and that's who they were hoping to get right out of the gate. They did not. Last year was much better, 3.96. It's not ace caliber, but it's way better than 6.85. But yeah, I'm looking at Max Fried because they don't Garrett Cole as your ace is such a sure thing that they've lost that you kind of need Max Fried to be that kind of guy. I have trust issues with Rodon. Trust issues a little with Marcus Stroman as well.
I think you're just a hater.
Well, I am a Marcus Stroman hater, but we don't have to get into that. Clark Schmidt, I don't know if he's quite there. As a solid 3 or 4, but I think Max Fried could be that guy. Maybe it might take him a little bit, as you said, Lydia, to get adjusted to the new team and the new market, but I think he could be that guy. He's a very, very, I watched him with the Braves for years, killing the Mets. It was bad. He was really, really good. So I think that was an excellent pickup. I don't know about the 8-year contract, but whatever. Doesn't matter. But I like him a lot. And for the bullpen, Devin Williams, I think, is going to be very, very good. I think he could be the best closer in baseball. At least I think he's top 3. He's right up there. He struggled on opening day, but I think we were talking about this on Nosebleeds yesterday. I think part of that might have been that he was playing his old team in the Brewers. Mm-hmm. That's tough. Those guys know you better than anybody. And also it is, and I'll say it, the Yankees are different. There's a different.
Oh, but you wouldn't admit this last night.
The Yankees are different.
She wouldn't agree that the Yankees are different.
No. Let me finish.
It's pinstripes or not in the Bronx. Sorry.
No.
Go ahead. You finish.
But it's different. Yankee Stadium, they booed him on the first day, which I thought was outrageous. Maybe give him more than 5 minutes in a Yankee uniform. You people are evil. But anyway,
learn the Yankee way.
Tough.
We're embracing it. We're building character for these guys.
Anyway, it is difficult to adjust to being a Yankee. Whatever, but I think he's going to be fine. He's so good. Although his last appearance before opening day was against the Mets, and Alonso hit that home run in the wild card round. That was the best day ever, but that is not important.
And then they lost to the Dodgers.
But they won that series, didn't they?
But they lost to the
And
Dodgers.
you were with me. I cried. But that's not important. That's in the past. So, Devin Williams, he's going to be fine. Everyone stop yelling at him.
I think this is the perfect transition into the Mets. We'll start with Juan Soto, obviously the name on everyone's lips.
Not mine.
not
Definitely not.
definitely not
Oh, that would be
Lydia's.
crazy if
Definitely
Lydia was talking
not
about Juan
Lydia's.
Soto.
I guess we'll talk about him in a Mets context, though. So, Joe Henry, don't give Lydia too much flack for this because,
Or do.
I mean, it was on the rundown. So Juan Soto's first game, he debuted in Houston, as we know, which was the same as his Yankees debut. Kind of funny, but his first game, he struck out to end the game, facing Josh Hader. He was visibly very upset about that, especially in his post-game presser. Second game, he homered. So kind of got that revenge. Third inning solo shot in last night's game. It's Juan Soto. He's going to be very good. And Grace, you kind of mentioned this. And as a Yankees fan, it does pain me. Like, my best friend is a Mets fan, and I'm like, I'll go to a Mets game with you. I'm going to go to the bathroom when Juan Soto comes up to bat.
That's valid.
But I'll go with you. But the thought of having Juan Soto in your lineup, coming up to bat at Citi Field, I'm sure it makes you very, very happy. In that same lineup with Francisco Lindor, hearing at Citi Field Soto Shuffle and My Girl at the same time. Two iconic walk-up songs.
It's magical.
I do have to say. So, Grace, I just want to hear, how excited are you to see Juan Soto play, especially given his home run in his second game?
I'm so excited, Annabelle. Can't even really begin to tell you. Lydia, I'm not sorry about this either.
Lydia just turned the volume on her
Yeah,
headphones
she's-
like all the way down.
But I can still hear
I'm so excited. That top 5 in their lineup is so good. No. Lindor, Soto, Alonso, Vientos, and I might have had them switched there, Vientos and Nimmo, but I think that top of the lineup is so dangerous, and Juan Soto is just so much fun to watch. I think he, like, the vibe I'm not going to say aura, even though that's kind of the word I want to use, but, like, the vibe he brings to the game, I just knew that would make you mad. The vibe he brings is also, like, completely different. I think the Mets don't have that. Like, they needed kind of a little bit of swagger, and
I would agree with that.
I don't think that the Mets had that. I think the Yankees kind of, like, they kind of do have that. Like, they had that with Juan Soto, and, like, they do without because of, like, them being the Yankees. But I like that for the Mets, and obviously he's going to be a fantastic hitter. And hitting with Francisco Lindor, I mean, I just, like, can't stop smiling talking about it. And they really, like, that was such a great move in the offseason. Lydia, your response?
I was always taught, if you have nothing nice to say, just don't say it at all. I get scrutinized for complimenting Soto. I get called.
When have I
get called
scrutinized
little
you
brother for
that?
being like, saying anything good or bad about Soto. So there's just really no winning when I talk about Juan Soto. He'll be a good Met. That's a pretty expensive home run last night. If you do the math, $765 million divided by 1.
Who's writing those checks, Lydia?
that's
Not me.
That's like tax. I'm just thinking like the tax implications of that one home run, like in New York, where like it's like 40% plus the luxury tax. Like, ooh, that's an expensive home run. Yeah. I really don't got anything to say. Soto's a good player. He'll be fine. It was great to see him strike out that one time.
Yeah, that did feel pretty good.
And it's funny that, like, Soto's got Yankees fans rooting for the Astros.
That was outrageous.
Yeah,
like
that's crazy.
It's a very different. Shame.
Okay, but it's a very different
Like,
era of Astros baseball.
That's true. A
Yeah.
lot of those guys are, other than Altuve, like most of those guys
and it's
are
been
gone.
for a couple years. Like, I was a fan of like after the Astros like got rid of all of their coaching staff and stuff. Like, I didn't hate them in the same way, but it's just ironic. Obviously hitting behind Lindor, that's a good spot to be in. It's not the same as hitting, around Judge. I think he was before Judge in the lineup, but don't actually quote me on that. My memory is as good as a goldfish. But yeah, Mets will be fine. Soto, he'll be a good player for them long term, but I don't really got anything else to say about it because I'm having trouble saying nice things.
I appreciate your.
I tried.
You did. I appreciate your effort.
Oh, and Grace, I just want to hear what you think about this. Their loss on Thursday broke like the Mets like opening day streak.
So yeah, well, they do have like the best record on opening day in the league since. I don't know if it's since the team's inception or it's a very long time. They're like 41-15 on opening day, which is kind of crazy considering like the Mets franchise history is like not that amazing. I will admit it, but listen, that was a winnable game on Thursday. They left my main problem. We'll talk about Clay Holmes a little. He was fine, not amazing.
Yeah,
they were leaving a lot of guys on base, and I do not like that. I've seen that with past Mets teams, and that has been the thing that killed them is they cannot drive these guys in. It might be a problem with the lineup. It is one game, so I'm not panicking, but that was just my thing on Thursday. When I was crashing out over the loss, I was like, you can't leave these guys on base. But other than that, it's like, okay, like the Soto strikeout, like I know it was funny. He was up 3-0 on Josh Hader, who's amazing.
Yeah.
Like, of course, like I could see why Yankee fans.
but Soto's a superstar too, no?
I could see why Yankee fans would latch onto that. Whatever, it was one strikeout. I'm not that concerned. He homered the next day. I'm like not that worried. I'm past it already. We play again today, and it's all good. Feeling super chill.
Well, as you mentioned, Grace, we'll move to some talk about Clay Holmes, another former Yankee moving to the Mets. He was the opening day starter for the Mets. 4.2 innings pitched, 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned runs, 4 strikeouts. Clay Holmes it was a guy who made me want to look away when he was on the mound. And to see him in this starter role is very interesting. So this is 2 great perspectives from you guys. What do you think? How did you feel about it, Grace? Because he's yours now.
It was kind of what I expected. I was making jokes with Kurt Sippel, our wonderful producer today, about, he's going to go 7 scoreless and it's going to be great. I didn't really think that was going to happen. I don't know what Kurt's take is on that, but I did not think that his first start was going to be as great as the spring he had. He did have a very good spring training, but it does take a little bit. He hasn't been a starter since like his rookie year, I think in 2018 or something when he was with Pittsburgh. So that is a big adjustment. He struggled with the Yankees sometimes. But it's fine. It's not like he went. Now, if he had gone in the first inning and given up 6 runs, I would have been on here crashing out. Like, I will actively admit that I would have been freaking out because I'm a little nervous about their pitching staff. But I think it's okay. If it continues like this, will I be worried? Absolutely, because they have a lot of pitching, I don't want to say issues, but like Sean Manaea is hurt.
Say it.
Sean Manaea is hurt. The rest of the starters, I'm not totally sure about. We're not sure what we're going to get out of Senga. Griffin Canning starting today. I'm again a little bit nervous. Tyler McGill, I don't know how much trust I have in him either. So yes, that is where I am scared about the Mets this year. But I'm willing to see how it pans out and to not freak out until I need to. I'm so chill. I've been very chill.
Yeah, just all
I'm
I gotta
serene.
say is get ready to learn White Horse and Clay Holmes because
I love that song.
I think I'm only 20, but I think I've got some like gray hairs because of Clay Holmes. he was actually, for the first couple years of his Yankee tenure, I was a huge fan of him.
Yeah,
Like,
me too.
You knew he was coming on and just gonna be able to close it out. And then it was that one summer, was it 2021 maybe? The pitches were just wild constantly.
Yes.
Like I remember I can't watch games against the Red Sox at Fenway Park because one, I have to watch it on the Nesson broadcast, and I'm not willing to do that and watch it muted. So I'd watch it from my phone, like the box score, and I'd just see where the pitches are landing, and it would be like the green icon just like way out of the zone, and I was just like, oh gosh, it's gonna be one of those nights again. I think Clay Holmes just lost his swagger. I really do. And then I think it's like when you're a pitcher, it's one of those things when you don't see the ball and you don't see the ball hitting the strike zones and getting cut on, you lose all your confidence. And I just don't think, I don't know if like him being a starting pitcher is going to take that pressure off of him. I also think baseball is a game of momentum, and like sure, he only gave up 3 runs, but you didn't even give your offense a chance to get into the game by just giving up those runs. So I know that the argument was like, oh, the Mets like just didn't show up on opening day offensively, but like why? You got a pretty big contract that you just signed. You should, but whatever. It's not my my problem. It's yours.
Thank you.
A lot of tension in this room after Mets talk.
I promise we're friends.
Yeah. But just a reminder, we have 4 tickets to Yankees Kansas City Royals on April 16th at 7:05. With that trivia question, call in to 718-817-2750 to win those. On the other side of this break, we have a segment with Gabby Price and Isabella Terracini, who are in Paris and Granada on Fordham basketball. Just want to note that this segment was pre-recorded before kind of the announcement about Mike Magpeo. So just take that into consideration. We'll have Gabby and Isabella on the other side of this break, and then NHL talk with Lydia, Grace, and Sophia Smith. So I'm sure there's going to be more frenemy arguments there, but we'll take a quick break. When we're back, you'll hear from Gabby Price and Isabella Terracini.